This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Give them a call, 727-9900. News is also brought to you by Desert View Hospital. You can count on us.
Welcome and happy Monday. Today is Monday, October 24th, and you're watching News 25 here on KPVM TV and Ace Country Radio. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. Well, the Nevada Supreme Court has ruled that Nye County's hand count can continue their voting ballots this election cycle. Interim Nye County Clerk Mark Comp says that he will also be using a voting machine as backup to verify that count. Early voting is happening now through November 4th, with the general election on November 8th. The American Civil Liberties Union filed an emergency petition with the Nevada Supreme Court in regards to the hand counting process, voter verification method, and doing away with the voting machines. There is one machine available at the polls for whoever would like to use it. No questions asked. We caught up with Comp today at the Bob Roode Community Center here in Pahrump.
Our first day, we had 358 voters here in Pahrump and 15 in Tonopah, and it went quite smooth. We were able to balance the ballots that were issued to the people who checked in perfectly, and so things are working great. People were very happy with the process. We've received about 3,000 mail ballots already, and those are starting today. They started opening the envelopes. There are observers there in Tonopah watching what's going on, and they will start to tabulate today. By the end of the day, we will have sufficient batches tabulated to get our hand count team working on Wednesday.
And none of these numbers will be released until?
Nothing will be released at all. As a matter of fact, anyone who works at the hand count center is going to be signing a form saying that they are not allowed to discuss or release any information that they see that goes on in those rooms. Anything that's part of early voting or election day won't be tabulated until 8 a.m. on election day. We'll start with the early votes because those will already be put together in the batches by precinct. We'll have those ready to go on election day, but we won't be counting them. And then on election day, we'll be sending election ballots through the sheriff in secure boxes with double locks off to Tonopah during the day to be tabulated so that we get as many tabulated as we possibly can by election night. When someone comes in here, we have two lines, one for voters with disabilities and one for everyone else. And if you need assistance, just ask. We'll provide you with the assistance you need. This is to make sure that people who have a cane or a walker don't have to wait in a long line with everyone else, and they can come up to the head of the line and fill out their paper ballot, sooner than everyone else, because we know that it's sometimes hard for them to stand or be, vertical for a period of time. We'll be looking at your signature, and if it doesn't look quite right, we'll ask you to do a signature update, and therefore we get a better signature in the file for you. Driver's license is one form of identification, but there's many different forms of identification that can be available to you. If you've got a utility bill, anything with your name and address on it is a sufficient identification. The poll workers are instructed as to what types of identification are appropriate for a signature update or a new provisional voter who has never voted before at the polls. We are following the guidelines from the Nevada Secretary of State exactly, and we are complying with any of their requests, and we will be moving ahead as we had planned with minor modifications, and we're doing just fine.
And what is that decision?
I'd rather leave that to our attorneys. If anybody wants to know, they can send an information request. But the decision basically said that we can move forward. We just have to make sure that we protect the vote counting that's going on, and people will have to sign an affidavit that says, I will not release any vote information, and we're making sure that there's no live streaming or anything of the vote. It will be recorded, But none of that will be released until after the polls close, probably the day after the polls close. They'll be able to see what's going on in the hand count area. In Pahrump, you can vote from 10 to 6 every day from now on until November 4th for early voting, except for Sundays. So next Sunday it won't be open. And then Election Day, November 8th, the times in Pahrump are from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. for early voting, and on Election Day from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. In Tonopah, we also have early voting until November 4th, skipping this next Sunday. Their hours are from 10 until 2 in the afternoon for early voting, and then they, of course, will be open, all the different locations where there's polling on Election Day from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And that includes Pahrump, Tonopah, Beatty, Amargosa, and Round Mountain.
And Sheriff candidate Joe McGill has had his political signs vandalized once again. This time they were ran over with a vehicle.
Well, it looks like the reindeer games have begun again. We have had 5 of the 4x8 A-frame signs driven over by a vehicle since about 6 o'clock last night until about the first one was discovered at 7 this morning. So yeah, there's about $1,300 worth of damage done to the frames and the banners that unfortunately I had to purchase with donations from the community. People have donated their hard-earned money to my campaign, in support of my campaign running for sheriff, and somebody has taken it upon themselves to drive over and destroy that money that these people have donated to my campaign.
So how many signs total?
5 total so far, but the day is not over and the election cycle is not over, so I expect it to increase from here. Yeah, we're talking about all together between the banners that were cut before and the ones that are being driven over now, we're at about $2,500 worth of damage.
And so we're looking if anybody was a witness to any of this, especially last night, because this was driven over with a vehicle, not a tractor, that they can give you a call. There's a reward being offered now.
Cops for Joe has offered, Cops for Joe McGill, which is a political action committee formed in support of my candidacy. They have offered a $500 reward. I'm going to go on record right now, and I'm going to match that. So if anybody has any information leading to the arrest of the individual who is destroying these signs, reach out to myself, reach out to the sheriff's department. If you see anybody at any of my signs here in the next several days, please call 911, because if it's people working on the signs on my behalf, they're going to understand why you're calling and why the cops are showing up. And if they're the bad guys, then hopefully they'll get caught.
All right, and so $1,000 reward right now for any information leading to their arrest. If you have any information or are near these signs that got damaged, tell the locations. You might have information and don't even know it.
One is at Pahrump Valley and Game Bird, directly east of the church. One is at Calvada and Upland on the north side of the road. One is at Blag and Irene on the east side of the road. One is at Charleston Park and Leslie on the south side of the road. And the fifth one, I can't think where that was offhand. You can reach out to me on my Facebook page, Joe McGill for Sheriff, or you can reach me on my phone. It is 775-505-3158.
All right, more news right after this break.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on. This segment of News 25 is brought to you by Lisa Spahitz and Mike Plasmeyer at Country Financial Insurance. Auto, home, life, and commercial. 775-727-8920. Also brought to you by Battleborn Financial. Investing and health insurance made easy. Off Pahrump Valley in Calvada.
And welcome back to News 25. Well, Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies were called to a report of a deceased person. This was behind the Smith's grocery store off of Highway 160 in the desert area. Upon arrival, they did locate the individual as described. This death has been determined to be non-suspicious. They say at this time there is no signs of foul play, and the individual has been determined to have been a resident of the homeless encampment in that area. Well, a big change for pet owners here in Nye County that will save them money. Nye County commissioners last week voted to amend some fees associated with adoptions from the county animal shelter. Commissioner Chair Frank Carboni made a motion to zero out all licensing fees for dogs and cats, meaning that there will be no longer a charge for those licenses. The other 4 commissioners agreed with his proposal.
These fees specifically are for surgical activities, but there is one change that we have to make. It's actually, we're going to zero out the licensing fees. It's also going to be part of that. So if you want, I'll make a motion to
Amended and adopt.
make a motion to amend and adopt the changes I just made, which is on the licensing fees, to zero, and accept the changes for the special fees for surgical and for vaccinations.
Second.
Okay. I was zeroing out those items. Well, the dog licenses and cat licensing, I'm zeroing out those fees. I can't remove them. I can zero out the fees. I'm going to call for the question.
Aye.
Jabor's aye.
Aye.
Aye, that's 5-0. Thank you.
Great step in the right direction here.
Yep.
Very good.
Well, once Title VI gets out, we'll be changing a lot more of this. So.
Well, Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies and Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue responded to 2 crashes today. No injuries were reported as a result of a 2-vehicle crash this afternoon on Blag Road and Highway 372. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue, like we said, along with deputies arrived on scene. Both vehicles were off of the roadway. And 1 person reported from a single vehicle crash off Blag Road and north of Betty Avenue this afternoon. That crash appears to have occurred following a medical episode, which caused the driver to crash into a fence, and that occurred in the Dairy area. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue and Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies arrived on scene. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue took the driver of that vehicle to Desert View Hospital for that medical episode. News 25 will return with more news on the other side of this break.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. Also brought to you by Silver State Health. Visit silverstatehealth.org or call 702-471-0420 for an appointment. News 25, local news you can count on.
Well, National Lead Poisoning Prevention Week is underway, and doctors with Cleveland Clinic Children's are doing their part to raise awareness in an effort to help prevent childhood exposure.
They can be exposed at home, at school, at daycare, grandma's house. And really it's when lead particles can happen from lead paint, chips from lead paint, the dust from those chips as it breaks down. If those particles are ingested and it gets into the bloodstream, it can cause all kinds of problems long-term for that child.
Dr. Thucker is a pediatrician. She says when a child is actively being exposed to lead, they may not show any symptoms or they might be vague. For example, trouble sleeping, behavior problems, and feeling tired. But as time goes on, the long-term effects tend to become more noticeable. Dr. Thucker says the child may have decreased academic performance and IQ, and in severe cases, seizures and even death. Since lead poisoning symptoms can be hard to detect at first, testing is recommended for those who are considered at risk. Prevention is also just as important.
We know that if we address the housing stock, if we can repaint windowsills and things like that and reduce the lead exposure, wet mop more in the home, things like that, we can eliminate or at least reduce some of those exposures for kids and help improve their outcomes.
And there are various treatment options available for lead poisoning. However, some long-term symptoms cannot be cured. Well, here's Pat Lemming with Never Forgotten Animal Society to talk about a beautiful dog waiting for her forever home.
Today's Save a Pet segment is made possible by Realty Executives in Action. Put the team at Realty Executives in action for you.
Hi, this is Pat with Never Forgotten Animal Society at 520 East Street in Pahrump, Nevada, Suite C. This is our little girl, Karma. She's a 2-year-old hound mix, and she just got done having 9 babies. We have weaned all the babies, and now she's up for adoption. She has been spayed. She's got all her shots, and she is one really sweet girl. She loves being around people. She loves being active. She really wants to get out and just play and run, and she needs a yard to do that. Karma is a black and white hound that has some spotting on her as far as like freckles. She is a hound mix of some kind. We're not clear. We think Springer Spaniel, but we're not real sure. Again, she's black and white and a very, very sweet girl. We believe she's about 2 years old, and she is available here at 520 East Street in Pahrump, Suite C. We're open Monday through Saturday from 10 until 5 every day, and you're welcome to come in. No appointment is necessary, and we would love you to come in and meet her. She is available now, and she's ready to go home. So you can reach us at 775-537-8674, and we're open Monday through Saturday from 10 until 5. Please come on in. No appointment necessary.
News 25 WeatherCam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
What a wild, windy weekend we had here in Pahrump with those brownouts all over town. It seems to have cleared up a bit. We're going to see what's in store for so many Halloween events this weekend, and of course into actually Halloween. John's going to return right after.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy.
Hi,
Enjoy
Nevada.
what's
It's
real.
John Coleman from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios on a Monday. Well, we're back after the weekend, feeling pretty perky. Looking like fall weather out there, too, as we look up and down the state. Fernley, Fallon, Carson City, stuck in the low 60s, upper 50s. 59 out there in Fallon, not so great. Tonopah saw 54. That's a cool spot in the state, as it so often is. 56 in Goldfield. 64 out there in Beatty. Seems downright room temperature, as does Amargosa. Hot spot in the state at just 65 degrees. My goodness, what a day. Las Vegas saw 64. And down in Death Valley, they're down like 30 degrees from the last couple of days. 77 degrees was all they managed today. But here in the paradise of Pahrump, let's take a look. 63 degrees. That's our current temperature. It was 64 just a little bit earlier. Man, that might be a good night to throw a fire in the fireplace. Winds out of the southwest to 5 miles per hour. Sun rose this morning in all its glory at 6:59 a.m., setting this evening at 5:56, not even 11 hours of daylight. My goodness, as we head to a low tonight of 40 degrees under clear skies, going to be some beautiful star watching. The wind's not going to bother us, just 5 miles per hour out of the east. And as it sets us up for the weekend, I guess we'll see some clouds blowing in. For the next couple days, temperatures staying reliably in the low 70s for the next couple days. Looks like it takes a dip on Thursday, but we get all kinds of sunshine as a trade-off. And then the clouds return and the temperatures back up into the low and mid 70s, 74 degrees by Sunday. Should be a pretty good weekend for football watching, making a pot of chili, doing yard stuff. All right, make your plans. Back to the desk. Here's Deanna.
Well, I can't even tell you how much fun it has been getting together with Rotary and the Kiwanis Club and everybody who is joining the Spooky Eye event down there at the Calvada Eye on Halloween night from 5 until 8 p.m. But we have a ton of people that are joining us down there. And I'm just excited to say it's going to be from 5 until 8 p.m. at the Spooky Eye. If you want to join us, that is not the correct flyer, but if you want to join us, you can give Barbara Thompson a phone call, 775-764-0681. And that is going to be where you're going to see us on Halloween night, October 31st. And that is going to be in the Calvada Eye. Some of those other flyers that you just saw there are different dates than actually Halloween night. Some people are having different events on different days besides Halloween. So we wanted to help promote them as well. There's going to be a Smith's event that's happening on October 29th, and that's going to be in the Smith's parking lot. And that's also with Marty Greenfield's Jewelers. They're going to be having an event down there in the Smith's parking lot. Of course, there's going to be an event also at Shenanigans. There's a haunted house down there. Double A Salon is also having an event as well. And you just saw some of those flyers pop up on the screen. We, of course, are promoting them on our KPVM Facebook page. So if you missed any of those, or if you got scanned through them a little bit on our television right there, then hopefully you got to see some of them. If you missed them, we'll be showing them, of course, throughout the week, and we want everybody to attend as many as you can and everything. But if you want to stop by on Halloween night, we are doing it in the Calvert. We can say that we've had a lot of people join us, and we have a lot of new people that have joined us throughout the weekend and who are going to be down there, and the list is getting longer every day. If you want to join us, 775-764-0681 to talk to Barbara Thompson with the Rotary Club to get your space, because we have got so many people who are coming down there, and we're all going to hand out candy, and we're going to change that whole place into a wonderful trick-or-treating venture. And it's off the highway, so it's in a safe location. We do have the Nye County Auxiliary helping us with some of the traffic control down there. And you can get a booth, you can decorate your trunk, and it's going to be from 3 hours, from 5 until 8 p.m. And we do have some lighting from Industrial Light and Power. They're going to help us out there. If you can't make it and you want to donate candy, you can, of course, do that as well. And it's going to be just a fun event. And if you have any other things that you would like us to promote, just send us an email to deanna@kpvm.tv, and we're more than happy to promote those and keep up to date on our KPVM Facebook page. We'll see you back here tomorrow night. I'm Deanna O'Donnell from all of us here at KPVM TV and Ace Country Radio. Have a great night.